The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com.
Additional support is provided by SoundTraxx, Model Railroader's Reader's Choice Award winner for Favorite Sound Decoder 2 years in a row. Now, for more information, please visit us at SoundTraxx.com, on our YouTube channel at SoundTraxx Videos, or your favorite retailer today.
Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show number 114 for May 2nd, 2020. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And tonight we've got the crew. I've got Chris Palomarez. I've got Daniel Coombs up here. Michael Budde.
Hello.
Mike Budde.
Hey, what's up?
And of course, James Regier. We've got a lot of cool things to talk about, and George Bogatiuk's going to jump in the show here and tell us about a new and exciting product coming from SoundTraxx that you guys will all want to know about. The weather's been absolutely fantastic here. We're all still in what they call lockdown, and it looks like that's going to go on for some time still. It sounds like at least through the middle of May. The parks are open here in St. Louis, which is great. People have been getting out. I shot a little footage of that this afternoon, and I've been doing a lot of nice photo shoots outside because the rain has stopped and the sun has been out, and I've been shooting various Athearn locomotives this week, and it's been an absolute joy to be able to do that. I do know that the ES44s that we've got on the table, I'm going to talk about those in the show and these gorgeous primed for grime locomotives. So Daniel, brother, tell us, what have you got going on? Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Hey, thanks again for having me. I wanted to quickly bring you guys up to date, and I'm progressing here on my layout. I mean, if you want me to just show them what I got going on real quick.
We all want to see what you're doing, Daniel.
All right, fair enough. And I'll try to slow down so I don't get you guys, headaches and whatnot. But, all right, picking up the phone. The one major change, or not major change, the one piece of progress I made was putting scenery down and to kind of give me a basis to know what I want to model. And as I said in my interview, you had me on, I think it was December's What's Neat for this year, that I said I was going to do semi-rural, semi-suburban. Well, plans have now changed. I'm just going to kind of do like a little bit of just a rural setting in general. So here again is the ballast and the way I want it to look. Woodland Scenics, fine turf, and the fine ballast is thrown in. So another thing I got going on is you notice the two signals right there. I guess you can see it. The Athearn signaling system, I managed to get the second board tied in. So basically, the second board over here is connected. So now it's a full functional signaling system with the infrared detectors. And as you just saw right there, the light went green because I got the train running around track 1. So that's pretty much it what I got going on.
That looks really good. I understand that you've worked out a deal with Campbell Rice to help him with his signaling system on his layout.
I did. It was a trade-off. I helped him with a locomotive he was having trouble with, and I fixed it, and he looked at me and said, well, I'll exchange it. Also, I'm going to get a little railroad scanner from him, too, so I think it's a good deal overall. I get a railroad scanner to stalk trains. He gets his engine with full lighting effects. So
how about that? That sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. Mike, Budde, I understand that you've put some photographs in Dropbox with James Regier for this show. What have you been working on?
Yeah. Well, besides working on the Camaros and Firebirds for this long auto rack train, I've been working on some tri-level auto rack cars. I got a Southern Pacific and a Cotton Belt so far, and an Illinois Central and a Penn Central. And most of these are scratch built, are kit bashed from other models. But I took a few pictures outside in the sun today, and that's what have been working on. I'll probably be working on this for a couple more weeks at least. So anyway, I got some stuff in the mail from Dana Stratton, who's a guy that makes 3D truck bodies. He prints a lot of detail stuff too, like little packages with a compressor and a hose reel and like road cones and barrels and stuff like that, all in HO scale. I guess he probably could do other scales too, but anyway, his main specialty is truck bodies, and he's been doing this for a couple of years. He was at the RPM 2 years ago when I interviewed him, but he's come a long way with his truck bodies, and he's another cool little thing is a skid steer that he printed. So I'll get those out and get some pictures up for next week's podcast. So that's really what I've been doing.
Man, that's really cool. I will tell you guys that my NCE system, I put a third radio down here, and it was in an area of the basement around the furnace and where things were blocked by this cement chimney wall. And it wasn't that I was having a dead space, but I wanted to have more continuity of power, because in that area you had to hold the throttle a certain way for it to work. So having that third radio down, and this is a large space. I've got a space of about 35 feet by 65 feet down here is the size of the basement. So it's a good size area, and now it's completely covered with the radio system that works really well with the handheld throttle. Plus, when we're using that JMRI system, I know you know well about that, James, but you got me starting to use that Wi-Fi system, and I really love the way that works. It seems like the Wi-Fi system does actually produce through the cement walls and outside, right, James?
Right. I had signal clear down to your fire pit, so you should be able to theoretically run your trains around your layout and control them while you're enjoying a campfire. Not that you'd actually be doing so, but you can.
No, it's absolutely amazing.
That
Plus,
would be nice.
the one thing that I really like about it is that big screen that you've got, so you can read everything. So when I'm accessing my locomotives, it asks me which locomotive do you want, and I push number 3, of course, and I push enter and rock and roll. I've been running trains. I've been running these ES44s down here every single night since the last show that we did, guys, and enjoying it thoroughly. Now, George Bogatiuk,
shall be 3, no more, no less.
was that a number 3 joke?
It's a Monty Python joke.
I tried to get you to do a bit of consistency, but you won't listen to me.
I love you guys. George Bogatiuk has got something new to announce from SoundTraxx. George, tell us about what you've got. Let's see what he's got going on right now. So hi, George. Welcome to What's Neat This Week. I know you've got something really exciting, something new from SoundTraxx to talk about.
We do, and we're very excited about this. What we've done this past week, we actually announced a 8-function PNP decoder. This is the board replacement style decoder that you'll be able to drop into your diesels, and it has 8 functions on there. And all 8 functions have access to all 20 plus of our different lighting effects, including Mars lights, gyro lights, rotary beacons, constant dim lights, things that we've talked about that you know I love. I'm a lighting guy, and so I've used all 8 functions on most of my models. One thing it's not really well known is that the Athearn factory installed decoders with the Tsunami 2, since they've been doing LEDs, have all been 8-function as well. So now we're excited to be able to add the 8-function version to our aftermarket line in the PNP decoder.
That is new.
Now I'm sorry.
That's exciting.
I'm super excited about it because obviously now I can start adding it to a lot more models than just the factory installed Athearn models that I've got.
So specifically explain to people out there that may not know what the advantage is. This means you can add more functions, more lighting. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So, for example, on these models here, Ken, I know I've brought some of these over to your place and we've run them before, but this is the newest edition right here, this Kato-944CW, and I was able to add an 8-function decoder into that. Now, we'll be having a step-by-step installation video coming up on our YouTube channel, so be sure you're subscribed to SoundTraxx Videos, our YouTube channel. But in here, I have my headlight illuminated, my backup light illuminated, the ditch lights. Now, this particular model did not have the alternating flashing ditch lights, so I wired them both on and off together. I added the number boards, then I added the truck lights, then I have the walkway lights, and there's actually 3 lights, one on each front and rear of the locomotive and one on the side over the little step on the engineer side over here. And then I've added the step lights all the way around all 4 corners of the locomotive, and those are on 2 different functions, but I've got them controlled with the same function. And then the last one is a really cool lighting effect that I'll give Chris Palomarez credit for, is our blue flag flashing light in the cab. Now, when these locomotives are being serviced, they have a blue flag. Well, the blue flag traditionally was a little metal placard that would hang on the side of the locomotive. But lately, they've actually been doing a flashing blue module. And we've put that on the dash of this locomotive so that way, when we tie down the F15 handbrake, it can actually trigger that blue flag light. And what's really cool about these, and part of the reason why we're so excited, is all 8 of those function outputs have access to all of our lighting effects. So function 8, it's not just an on-off light. It actually will allow me to do the flashing lights just like you see on the real locomotives.
Wow, that is so cool. And you can get those on your website at SoundTraxx.com, is that correct?
Actually, not yet. We're actually going to put them through the retailers first. For the first month, we're going to be selling them only to the retailers, so be sure to check out your local retailer first.
Okay.
They'll be on the site at some point. But one thing we also wanted to mention is, Ken, for all the appreciation for all the work you've done and for your great viewers, we wanted to give you a special promotional code that your viewers can use on our website. Now, if they go to SoundTraxx.com and go through the purchase process, during the checkout, if they enter the code WNTW10, that's what's neat this week, and the number 10, you'll get an additional 10% discount off of your order.
How about that? That sounds fantastic.
We're super excited about it, and Ken, we want to say thank you to you and your viewers. I can't tell you how many times I've been at shows and people come up to me and say, hey, you're so great. I've been seeing you on What's Neat. It's been doing really well. We've been having a lot of fun. And Ken, getting to know you over the years has been fantastic. So we wanted to give a way to pay back to your viewers as well.
Wow, George, best hobby in the world with the best people in it. Hey, listen, I want to thank you very much for appearing here on this show number 114 with us. And we've got the whole podcast crew standing by. So with that, let's go back to the guys.
Hey, guys, take care.
You know, it's really neat that they're coming out with new products just like that. James, you also and you, Chris, both know about this new decoder. Tell us what you guys think about that.
Well, it's kind of neat. It's that it's sort of marketing back to the forms of the original Tsunami ones, where they had the custom decoders that you would just drop into your locomotive, replacing whatever board was in there, which actually minimizes the space. Now these have 8 lighting functions on them. But with minimizing the space, what you can do is you have a lot more room for wiring for all those lighting features and anything else. Or what I like to do is add weight. So there's more space for that too.
Yeah, Chris. I mean, it looked like he had a lot of functions hooked up. Walkway lights, wheel well lights, headlights, ditch lights. And this blue light, what was that about? He was talking about the blue light.
Well,
a discount?
It's the discount line. Actually, I was heading out to the Rocky Mountain Train Show. I think this was about like a year and a half ago, and holed up over at the Chicago Union Station. I was just watching trains coming into the different tracks, just one at a time. And then this one train, I saw a crew go out there, like a work crew, that set up a blue flag on the side of it because they're going to go inside and start working on the locomotive and stuff. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I noticed is they put like this little flasher on the dash of this one P42, or it might have been another type of locomotive. I'll need to check the video, but it started flashing. This blue flashing blue flag on there. I'm just like thinking about that. I call up George. I'm like, hey, George, it just kind of came to me. How about when you set the handbrake, it triggers like the blue flag, like you're going to start working on the locomotive and stuff. I mean, you see it all the time in like, situations where they're going to be fueling it up or servicing the locomotive at all. So in the modern setting, you'd see the blue flashing strobe on there. I mean, in the 70s and 80s, they didn't really have the blue flasher on there, but they had like a blue flag that they would actually place on the side of the cab window. You might recall that, Mike.
Yes.
So in absence of the blue flag you put on the side of the cab window, having that flashing thing in there kind of adds another dimension of realism to when you're, hostling a locomotive and you tie it down, put it into a service track or something. You know, it just adds a little bit extra to it.
That sounds fascinating. So you're saying, Chris, that at the diesel facility where they fuel them up, pretty much all the locomotives in there at some point in the future, they're all going to have those blue flashing lights inside the cab.
As soon as they're being serviced by a crew member, the blue flag means that you can't go up and couple onto that locomotive or move it because there's people working on it, so that would endanger them. So
wow, that is fabulous.
I'm just noticing Daniel must be being serviced right now because he's got the blue flasher on.
Oh yeah, because I got my wireless headphones.
God, I miss hanging out with you guys. Did I say that too much already? I've got these gorgeous Athearn ES44s on the table. All of these come with Tsunami 2s, and the reason I'm bringing this up is I want to show you some outdoor photography and some eye candy because I love doing this kind of an edit. All of these locomotives also have LED lights in them, and I've appreciated that this week watching them. But what's really special, and I'm going to get to the prime for grime in a second. First of all, I took out the NNS locomotive number 7539. This is an ES44, just an absolutely exquisite locomotive. It looked good out there in fresh sunlight. The CSX locomotive has got that, is that a Western, tell me what that herald is on the nose of that locomotive, Chris.
That's the Western Maryland Fireball. What CSX did is they put sort of historical logos on the sides of the nose of their certain locomotives. This one apparently just so happens to be the Western Maryland, but there's also ones for like the chassis system, Seaboard Systems, SCL, all that stuff. They all kind of got what they called emblem units, I believe. So all the four locomotives that you have on the table there, they're ES44 DCs. Means that they are the direct current derivative of the GEVO.
The antenna
when you start showing off the prime for grime, we took a lot of requests for doing some more of this stuff on these modern locomotives. So we're doing the Union Pacific on the ES44 AC. That's open for pre-order right now. We're doing another sort of dog's breakfast door, but this time on the Union Pacific. What happened is I think it might have caught on fire or something, so they had to replace some of the doors around a little bit, so the doors are in primer and things like that. It's just little things like that that just give the locomotive a little more character and even a little bit of a story. I think, honestly, it was Daniel. This is Daniel's doing here. A lot of he sent me a text one day, and it was just like this burned out BNSF GEVO.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
So that got the gears turning, and I was talking to the team over at Athearn, and they were really into it too. So,
cool.
I mean,
Nice.
really,
All
all the legwork is them. I mean, all the artists, the research, and all that, that's all them. So, yeah, hats off to the art team over in Long Beach. They did a fantastic job on it, and everybody that helped out bring it to fruition,
The third locomotive that I shot outside is number 7626. This is the ES44 DC with a BNSF swoosh on it. And then comes the prime for grime. This pumpkin here, number 7716. And I shot both the swoosh and this one together so that you can see the difference in the shade of color on the paint. How Athearn has already pre-applied pre-faded paint to give you that effect of what the sun does to the paintwork of these locomotives grinding outside the yard and working all day long on the main lines. So it's absolutely amazing. I've got a few other primes for grimes on the table here. This BN unit is on the table, and I didn't photograph that one outside, but if you're lucky I might, and you'll get to see a picture of that right now. And also this, I don't know what it's called. It's like an FP45?
Yeah.
SDP40.
SDP40.
STF40-2.
Okay, great. And that one is in the BNSF Santa Fe prime for grime faded out yellow paint, and I definitely remember shooting that outside with the notched nose on it. And you know what, Chris? Every one of these models runs smooth. The motors that you guys put in these things are fabulous.
We've been really digging into improving the running characteristics of our models across the board, starting with roundhouse, looking at RTR, and then also, of course, Genesis improving our operational stuff on there too. So, and there's more ground to cover with these things. So,
well, and I noticed one model that's not on the tables is that you guys are coming out with the vomit bonnet.
That is true.
That's the Grinstein Green and Cream War Bonnet that Burlington Northern Santa Fe did right at the beginning of the merger, and the colors just were not made for the paint scheme, and it just did not match up, and so it got nicknamed the Vomit Bonnet.
Yeah, rightly so. It was an experiment that ended badly.
Yeah.
Weren't they also called the executive color scheme units at one time?
Well, I mean, the green and cream ones were the SD70 Max, but this one they tried to do a war bonnet with it, and it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
and it was a one-off, and it's gone.
It's been since repainted, actually.
Gotcha.
Wow, Chris, let me say thank you to you and your team, what you guys do for us model railroaders. Wow.
Right.
James Regier, you've got some beautiful models in the background. They're all lit up, the gas station, the train station, and a diorama. Tell us what you've got going on this week. Well,
so this week, one of the projects that I've been working on is this gas station here. We've seen it before, but it's getting to be more or less complete now. There's going to be a few light modifications. I'll send better photos of it. But I have the service bays lit up. There's a trouble light under the hood of the Ford Custom 500 that's being worked on in one of the service bays. There's a Mercedes Gullwing that's getting its tire changed in the other one. And then there's people sitting around in the lobby. Someone asked me when I posted this on Facebook if they were properly social distancing. And I said that they've been in isolation in that lobby since sometime last summer. So I'd assume they're all right. Although
I think they're going to pull through, James.
Right, yeah, I think they'll pull through. But it's been kind of fun, and I've one of the things that I've been doing with this model especially is I've been looking up on Thingiverse different little additions that I could find, like oil barrels, for example, or there are several oil barrels with pumps on them that I could 3D print. There's oil barrel trash cans that are also in that building. There will be another one on the pump island as that gets made. There's newsstands, that kind of thing, all of them 3D printed, and that's been kind of a fun exploration of what that Dremel 3D printer can do.
That's pretty darn cool, guys. Man, I miss you guys. I can't wait till we're all sitting here doing a show together, and I hear we're going to have a barbecue. So,
sounds good.
That's the plan.
Next week,
we'll have to get Josh involved
for a barbecue there.
I understand that Denny Yelsma from Yelsma's Graphics, and I got his jacket hanging up over there on the other side of the monitor because I love that logo. He bought a video camera, and he's going to start doing some work down in Florida, maybe shooting some layouts and different things for us. I look forward to that. And next week on the show, we are going to have Ron Angstead from Intermountain Railway Company out there in Colorado. And he's going to give us an interview and tell us about some of the latest things that they're doing and how actually they're still working. They are actually working out there. The gentlemen are working from home, as are you, Chris. So, but yet the hobby is still doing well. I've still heard that sales are good. Hobby shops that are doing curbside service, and internet sales are very good right now. And a lot of people, if you look at Facebook, they're all building models. I know we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think we mentioned this earlier, but I would say that that SoundTraxx with this latest decoder, the PNP, they're releasing it exclusively to the local hobby shops to try and give them a boost during this difficult time.
That's a nice gesture.
Well, that's a real
nice
gesture from SoundTraxx.
Yeah.
One of the things I saw that was pretty cool, they got a little custom shirt they made. To keep
you,
up in good spirits during this time.
They run trains or play with trains, I think it was. And I know they've also been dedicating a lot of their production facilities to making electric equipment for respirators as well.
Yes, they have. They were nominated for some award from Colorado to say thank you for your support during this time, which is pretty cool
Yeah.
with SoundTraxx.
Oh, they've been doing some wonderful work.
I know they have.
You guys are awesome.
Cool.
All right, guys. I think that's going to close out number 114. We've covered everything on my list. Are all your lists over there covered up too?
Yep.
Okay, rock and roll. With that said, everybody out there stay safe. Thank you so much for supporting the best hobby in the world. And let's go run some trains.
Sounds good. See ya.
See you guys.
So long.